Welcome along to Obsession Engineering and Rapid Honda at Cadwell Park for British Superbikes on a bank holiday bonanza weekend. We've got a different rider this weekend. Franco took a fairly big hit at Thruxton and his concussion took a few days to clear, and the protocol for concussion is when you have no symptoms left, it's 10 days. And he wasn't going to be fit enough in time, and he's cracked something in his left hand, so we didn't want to risk him doing any more damage by basically putting pressure on him to come and ride early, and so we've drafted in our mate Tom Ward, and so we better go in the garage and meet him. Obviously the star of the show is Pete, but we won't talk to him yet, we'll talk to Tom. So then Tom, luxury of Cadwell Park is we get a 2.5 hour open pit test on Friday night, so you're looking forward to the Superbike?
Yes, yeah, very excited, yeah, I've been thinking about it all week. Been doing my mental laps before I go to sleep as well, so getting ready to cover the back brake with all the power. Yeah, it's one good thing, at least it's a Fireblade. Yeah, hopefully, I mean, pretty much everything on it feels very similar to my stock bike, which is very similar to the World Endurance bike, so I'm hoping just be able to jump on it and do the same type of thing. Cool. That's the plan.
Ride around in circles and have fun.
Yeah, nice and easy. It sounds easy, doesn't it?
Yeah. Cool, right, we'll let you get ready.
Cheers, thank you very much.
So hiding in the corner we've got like basically team dad, which is Matt, but more importantly Tom's dad. So he seems chilled and looking forward to it.
Yeah. I'm not chilled at all. No, I'm all right. He's quite happy, and I'm quite happy, and we're really pleased with the opportunities being given. So yeah, very good, very good.
I'm just looking forward to a different experience this weekend. I'm not saying it's going to be better. I'm not saying it's going to be worse. It's just different. It's good for the team. Different rider. Tom's been riding really well this year. Race winner in stock, podium winner in stock. He can ride a bike. He's got a bit more experience than Franco, so he might be able to give us a bit more feedback on the bike that will then help us in the future or whatever. I've got no expectations, just want to enjoy another weekend at the glorious Cadwell Park.
Well said, Matt. Have you been practicing that?
No, for a change. Normally I'm like, oh, what do I need to say? What do I need to say? Yeah. A bit like that, really.
Yeah, but this weekend, Tom's obviously rubbing off on us. We're all quite chilled.
Yes, we are. We're relaxed. We all just feel got the.
Yeah.
It's as if it was all our birthdays the other day.
Excellent. Cool. Right, we better get a bike ready.
Yes, not long. 9 minutes.
Right, first flying lap, having not been on the bike in motion before, a 34.1. If you're club racing, that's going to put you mid-pack straight away. And so it's fair to say these boys aren't shy. Tom's in after his first run, did 7 laps, fastest of a 1:30.4, so not too shabby. What do you think to your first run out on the Superbike?
Yeah, she feels good, yeah. Fast, very stiff is like the first initial thing, is like how rigid the bike is, but obviously it wants to be pushed a lot harder than I'm pushing it, so yeah, just trying to go steady away to begin with and get the old ergos right.
We're just making a few little detail changes to basically seats and foot pegs and bits and a bit more steering damper, and then have another go, really, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it, yeah, get a bit more comfortable on the bike, and then hopefully it'll feel a bit more like mine. It always does the second run out, doesn't it? So yeah, get out for the second one, make little changes, and then hopefully start to go a bit faster.
We've been in and out a couple of times. It's now all hands on deck, basically building up the back of the tank with some foam to get Tom comfortable. But this is exactly what a rider needs. If he's comfortable on the bike and can get it to do what he wants, then that's a big start.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, just need to try and make it into an old leather armchair now, so she's nice and comfy.
1:28.3, quickest lap. I'd say that was a pretty good evening.
That was all right. It's nice. It's very nice.
That was good. Really enjoyed that. Good fun.
Right, we'll let
Proper.
Chris. We'll let Chris cool the bike down a little bit, and then we'll chat through a bit more.
Thank you very much.
Right, so we've had a bit of a debrief and a bit of a chat through. There's a few details we want to look at, but in general, what was your first impression of our Superbike?
Yeah, it was lovely, bloody lovely. Yeah, really enjoyed it. Felt it's hard. It's always hard to tell. Like the anticipation of is it going to be like is it going to be really fast? Is it going to be really aggressive? Whereas actually it was really tame on the throttle, which was nice. The chassis worked a lot better than the stocker. The overall like stiffness of the whole bike is obviously quite hard to get used to. And just how fast the bike turns.
We're going to try your World Endurance tank because then we can run a lower seat so that you're not pivoting as much on the bike, and the idea with that is just basically to make you even comfier on it, and that's going to unlock quite a lot of the lap time.
Yeah, definitely. I think you know what it's like if you've got an old pair of boots, when you slip them on it's sort of like comfortable straight away. So if I can get the old ergonomics right, then I think being sat down in it, there's no the most noticeable thing was how much weight was on my arms. We obviously pulled the handlebars up, and that made a big difference. So I think chuck the seat and the old tonk. That's French. They call it tonk, not a tank. So put the tonk on the bike, and we'll be all good to go.
So as you might notice, it's quite dark outside, but there is still work to be doing in here. Spunky's on his knees in front of Rob because that's the kind of evening they're having. Right, to get Tom's seating position where he wants it, we can't get the seat lower with our tank assembly and seat bits. So what we've ended up doing is borrowing his fuel tank off his World Endurance practice bike and then his seat assembly. So we've then got his seating setup exactly as he normally runs it. We did toy with trying to run his handlebars as well, but they don't fit with our clamps, and we can't run his clamps because the diameter's different. Little note there for the fork height change we're going to do tomorrow. And even fitting the fuel tank, it's made to fit a Fireblade, but the fuel lines underneath are slightly different. The connectors into the wiring loom are different, so we have had to do some jiggery-pokery to make it work. The boys are also still going to have to put the rain light into that seat unit as well, and so we are going to get the bike how Tom wants it, but it's not a 5-minute job, hence why we're still working while it's dark out there. Oh yeah, and we've got to do all the regular maintenance, so the clutch has been out and checked, all the fluid levels checked, brakes cleaned, and general basically chassis setup checks. Oh well, it's a good job we enjoy this. Do we enjoy this?
Yeah. Where else would we be, Rob?
And on that note, we'll see you tomorrow. Welcome along to Saturday at Cadwell Park. So this is just before FP1, and of course because it is the beautiful British summer, it's raining outside. Soggy. Pete's sheets have got a little bit soggy, so that's gone nicely. We are therefore very lucky that we had a 2.5 hour test session yesterday, and of course because it's wet we've made some changes to the bike. So along with putting Tom's tank on the bike and his seat unit so it feels like home, because it's wet, we have a considerably softer rear spring in the back of the bike. We've got softer fork springs, a little bit softer on the compression setting, but the biggest change is the map that controls the bike and the power is quite a lot different in this. So for the wet, we have softer throttle maps to basically reduce the torque and make the bike easier to ride. So each gear has a different throttle map. And it's basically that translates to how quickly you open the throttle to how much power it actually gives you at the bike. There's also an ignition map that drops off in places so that if the bike's sliding, you hold the throttle steady, the power will actually fade away. So it's not traction control, it's just basically ignition reduction that makes the bike easier to ride again. We also have softer engine brake map because obviously there's less grip, so you need less engine brake. So basically, softer power, less engine brake, and a nice, really soft ignition map in it. Make it easier to ride.
I prefer it to be dry, but I don't mind the wet. Yeah, didn't used to like the wet. I used to like the wet, didn't like it, and now I don't mind it. Sit on the fence.
Right, and this weekend, this looks like today is the only wet day, so it's not critically important. So again, it's just a case of going out and getting comfy with the bike with the changes made.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, just go out, try and make sure the bike feels alright, sort of comfortable wise. Seating, I guess that's the main thing for me. Once I feel comfortable on the bike, which I think we will do now, that'd be nice to get some wet laps in. Then hopefully tomorrow when it's dry, we'll be able to hit the ground running type of thing.
Early pit stop then, but it was only to move his foot peg position because we're lowering his seat. In the garage it felt alright, but as soon as he was moving around on the bike on track, he wasn't as comfy as he wanted to be, so we lowered the footrest a little bit, and I put a bit more tape on the oil cooler because it was getting quite cool, water cooling your oil cooler. It is efficient. Right, he's back out there, and I'm staying in the garage. Right, that didn't go to plan, did it, Tom? But you're in one piece, though.
Yeah, that's not too. It's got to be a record crashing out last place, isn't it?
It don't count, FP. It's fine.
No. Yeah, literally just went back out, changed the pegs, came out of the last turn, then had a big moment, which 9 times out of 10 would usually save, and then came back on me, went back, just like a fucking Bronco, and then went straight over the bars. So really annoying, but yeah.
You're in one bit though.
Yeah. I think you pick up speed on the grass as well when you get down. It's going in backwards into the barrier, not very much fun. But sorry to the boys because they're going to have to say, no, it's not too bad really. So give them something to do.
Exactly. Right, and talking of things to do, it'll be right-hand handlebar because that's gone full banana. Bit of cleaning up on the fairing because that's Tom's seat unit. We'll actually repair that one. We'll fiberglass that one up and see if we can get that one going again. It just wants a bit of tidying up. The big thing will be getting the grass out of it because as soon as you get the grass out and change the handlebar, it'll look considerably better straight away. FP2, we were hoping it dried out. We put dry springs in. But it's definitely not dry. But it's nowhere near as wet as it was this morning. And we have seen a couple of bikes go out on inters, because if you look down here, and the start-finish straight is always the last place to dry here, there is a drying line. The bit before it's still quite wet though. Right, so our FP2 plan was scuppered by the weather. Our plan was basically do an outlapper, like a systems check lap, and then we did that, and then basically waited, put the dry springs in it, so the dry setup in the bike, and we're hoping for like last 10-15 minutes it was going to be dry enough to go full slicks and actually gain some knowledge that would then help us tomorrow when it's dry. Unfortunately, for the last like 15 minutes the rain came again, so that didn't help us at all, but we ran the bike round on dry springs, on stiff springs, but on the wet map on wet, and actually it was quite useful because I was a bit suspicious that this morning we got a bit too soft with the shock, and actually that reinforced it a little bit that it was too stiff now, but we're probably better in the middle ground somewhere. But no, a few laps in, shaved the gap to the leaders by 3 seconds, so actually quite positive even though we only did 5 laps. So not only has the sun come out, but Duncan, the commentator's come out, and he's come to talk to our rider, and he's also talking to Claire, who looks absolutely petrified by that microphone. So yeah, this is actually quite good fun. I suspect in a minute she'll swear at us, so I might have to turn the camera off. But she loved that really. I think what she said there was that was great. Because FP2 is now finished, the boys have stripped most of the bike down, given it a very good clean because it's got quite dirty today, even after we've picked the grass out of it. And we're doing the usual prep. So Chris has got the clutch out, and the plan with that is to measure the actual stack height to see if we've got any wear on it, check the condition of the plates, and basically re-oil it and put it back together. Rob will have gone through and cleaned the brake calipers. It'll get fresh brake fluid, oil level check, water level check, airbox check to make sure there's no debris or anything in there, and basically a nut and bolt check through the whole thing. But there is a more pressing matter right now in pit lane. Tom Ward's scooter won't start. I mean, his session finished over an hour ago and he's still here, and it turns out the only reason is because his bike won't start. So what we've done is we've got the rider and the team boss trying to fix a scooter, and if I'm honest right now, I'm not convinced either of them are terribly good mechanics. I could help. but it's kind of fun watching. And other than charging the battery up on Tom's scooter, that is day done for us. And the nice thing is we're not out until 1 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, and we don't have to work till midnight fixing a bike tonight. So happy days for all of that. I'm going to go and eat and sleep. Catch you tomorrow. It's Sunday at Cadwell Park, and up there look like blue sky, actual blue sky, like an almost English summer's day. Ish. I mean, I've put my shorts on, it's just about tolerable still. Right, it is just before 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and at 10 past 1 we have FP3, and then a very short gap, and then straight into qualifying. So obviously, after the free practice sessions, we were not in the top 12, so we do not go straight through to Superpole. So we go to Q1, which is actually better for us because it gives us 15 minutes of track time, not just a single lap. And so in that 15 minutes, Tom can try some different lines, he can just get more comfortable with the bike, and he can push on for basically 10 laps. If at the end of Q1 we're actually in the top 3, we get to do Superpole as well, which would be splendid. But we're probably not really banking on doing that, but I have read up on the regs for it just to be sure, because you don't want to get through and then look silly because you don't know what you're doing. I mean, we don't know what we're doing most of the time, don't we? Just about get through, I think. Hello, Pete. This ugly bugger wandering around as well.
Wandering around.
Yeah.
10 minutes to go.
So because it's getting to the exciting point of the day, this spectator is turned up to stand around our garage. I can't remember, I think his name's Frankie something? Frankie, I don't know. But I heard you hurt your hand a few weeks ago. How's that doing?
You just forgot about me already.
Who are you?
No one really. No
Good,
one.
yeah.
No. Yeah, my hand's gotten a lot better, to be fair. But yeah, I've done my scaphoid, fractured a bone in my scaphoid and a little one in my hand. But it's on the heel. I'm healing quickly. Hopefully be spot on for the test. We've got the test before open, so we'll be right. We'll be spot on for next one. Brand new.
You knocked yourself on the head as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
Luckily you're already quite thick, so that's not been a problem.
Well, I actually feel more clever after I've had a head injury. So I think I'm probably the only person who can say that. My HCSE helmet did a really good job, to be fair. It's like for a crash that fast with your head sliding on the floor, it's done a really good job, to be fair.
Cool. Right, so you're just enjoying watching the weekend. We're back at home.
Well, I don't know about enjoying. I'm watching for the weekend. But yeah, see you at home.
FP3 has started, and unusually we've got it on TV, so we can watch our boy riding around. He's just like a second off the back of the group. Gives him something to look at, basically, some people to chase around a little bit. Yeah. Hopefully he just has a good 10-minute session, just gets a bit more feel for the bike, and then we can make some little adjustments before qualifying. Relatively lengthy debrief done because it's Tom's first properly really good session, really pushing for a lap time. We gained a lot of information in between FP3 and Q1, so we've ended up 19th on the grid, but that's fine. There are people behind us who are doing this all the time, and we're just chucking Tom into the deep end basically. But we've gone priorities for race 1, and the first thing is basically when he goes to the gas. When he goes big gas, especially out of slow corners, the bike's running wide because we've got a relatively soft spring and preload setting in the shock. So it's basically, as he's gassing it, it's going soft. And because he's running the bike a little bit lower and he's sitting lower than we're used to, he's already sitting further down in the back of the bike. So that's making the bike run wide. So we're going to make a spring change and a preload change in the shock. We're going back to the gearing we ran previously as well. We tried shorter gearing, and the idea was we were going to get used 6th gear down the back straight. But actually, with the shorter gearing, the bike is more difficult to get off the corner before, so then he isn't actually going as fast. So shorter gearing hasn't gained us anything at all. So we're going to go back to the gearing we ran before. We're going to try some slightly different engine brake, and we're going to make a bit of a change with the front spring and preload setting and the fork height to give us a bit more stability and a bit more brake to push into. So we have our priority list and we're going to work through it and then get a bike ready for the race. 6 minutes until our pit lane opens here at Cadwell. The weather's changed, so me and Pete have got body warmers back on, but Tom will be warm enough before you know it anyway. He's nice and chilled. He's been doing some warm-up stuff with Jim out the back. Bike is ready to go. Wheels are in it. We've just put a tiny little bit of extra fuel in it so Tom could do a second out lap, because we have enough time when pit lane opens for him to go out, do a full out lap, and then basically ride through pit lane and do a second out lap. Because we've made changes to the shock, the forks, and the engine braking, it gives him a chance to just try the bike basically, get a bit of a feel for it before race start. It's not an especially big grid here at Cadwell. The track is narrow, so it feels very, very busy with basically 4 or 5 people per team. Obviously the riders and the bikes, a brolly person, and there's basically grid passes to let VIPs and special guests onto the track, so it is a bit tight. We've got some of our VIPs here as well. If you'd like to be involved, you can come and sponsor the team. I shall put a link in the description, and you can come onto the grid, see what's going on, get a real taste of BSB and get fully involved in the team. And that's enough plugging for sponsors. We're just waiting for our rider to come round at the end of his second out lap. Matt is stood down the other end of the grid to guide him in, so to speak. That's it. The boys will catch him. We'll get rear standing and start changing the back wheel. Spunky over here will get the front in and wrapped, and I probably ought to actually talk to the rider and see what's going on, make sure everything feels all right. Standard Superbike style. Tom's happy, but he does need a wee. So luckily he has got 7 minutes to spare, so he's going right out the back towards the trees, because apparently he was a little bit shy to pee in front of the rest of his normal super stock team. Right, ready for this then, Tom?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Bike feels, did a couple of laps then, bike feels good, so try and get stuck in, get involved, see what happens.
Go and have some fun.
Exactly, yeah. Cadwell Park on a superbike on a Sunday.
Exactly. It'll be cracking.
Cheers, thank you.
Right, the music is playing, which means they're on the warm-up lap. BSB race at Cadwell Park, race 1 will be go in about a minute's time. Just as we left the grid, I just said to him, go out, have fun. Understanding there is no pressure for him this weekend. We want him to have fun and just enjoy riding the bike. And generally, if people are enjoying riding the bike and having fun, they're going fairly fast. And so, yeah, let's see how he gets on. Might be a new rider, it's still the same old nerves though. You still look petrified, Rob.
I don't know why it is, mate. I always get so nervous. It's all the hard work, I think, isn't it? And everybody wants to succeed, and it's just great, really, isn't it? That's all it is, just great. It's just great.
So you like it, yeah?
Yeah, it's all right.
Into turn 1. He's in the mix though. Right, lap 1, we've been in shot. It looks like he's been diving underneath people. He's been properly mixing it up. The boy is not scared of a race. This is going to be exciting. So I'll catch you in a few. Right, we're smiling because race 1 finished 15th. So as a team we get a point. Tom has scored a point for us on the Superbike. That was an absolutely bang-on ride. 1:27.5, so knocked 0.8 off from what he'd done in quali as well, so absolutely top job.
Danny Cam was following you for ages.
Yeah, I knew that when he got past, I thought, well, he's been there for that long. He obviously hasn't got that much more pace.
No.
I had a couple of moments where I was just pushing the front, and then I couldn't work out if the gap behind me was massive. I think it was, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was,
yeah. It's a shame because at one point, Iden and Thingy were kind of in the bus stop chicane, they were coming back a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I thought when Danny went past, we'd maybe claw them back in, but...
27.5.
Oh, yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
Bang on, boy.
Oh, sweet. That's good.
Brilliant.
Oh, mate, she felt mint.
Cool.
Felt proper mint, yeah.
Good. Well, we'll have a big chat about it in a bit.
Yeah.
And, we can try things as well as we want to, but well done, mate.
Cheers, thank you very much.
Spot on. That's good. No pressure, boy.
Good ride, that was. Good ride, mate.
I'm putting it out there that today has been a pretty good day, but it is definitely dark outside. The drone from the generator that we're sat next to is dragging on a little bit, and there's still squiggly lines on my laptop that we're looking at. There's a couple of points from the debrief basically that I'm looking into, and one of them is this very squiggly line here. This very, very squiggly line. And basically that's as Tom releases the brake at Charlie's 2, so go over the top from Charlie's 1 into Charlie's 2, and there is a few bumps which sort of set it off, but as we unload the tyre from the trail off, the fork goes a little bit crazy. And you get this pattern. Basically it's like juddering the front wheel away from him a little bit, so it's not very pleasant, and basically that is riding to the limit of what the fork and the tyre combination can do. And if we scroll out a little bit and go to say Park Corner, so down here, it's not as pronounced here, but it's definitely still doing it. And so there's a few places on the track where that last little trail off of the brake, as you take the load off the tyre's sending like a judder through the bike. And so it's a bit of a head scratch, this one. There's no obvious thing of going, oh, we need to do a certain thing with it. So sometimes you have to admit you don't know everything and go and ask some advice. So been up to see Richard at Olin's, bounce a few ideas backwards and forwards with him, and we have a direction to try in the morning. Basically we're going to have the fork a little bit softer with a little bit less damping, especially less rebound damping in, so that the fork travels through this phase of its stroke a little bit quicker, and basically that will help the fork move and basically alter where the load is going through the bike. And so that's the idea, is that's how that's going to work. Whether it actually works like that is yet to be seen. We have to try a morning walk, but that is one of our little details we have a plan for. So that's that. The boys have got the bike finished barring putting the bodywork on, and so it is, I think, time to pack up for the evening and go and chill out a little bit. It's Sunday. No, it's not. It's Monday. It's Bank Holiday Monday. I don't know what day of the week it is anymore. Right, Superbike is warming up behind me. We've got 20 minutes before our morning warm-up, and we have got quite a lot to change, or quite a lot to try, because I've changed quite a lot. Not only do I not know what day of the week it is, words apparently are becoming a struggle, but these weekends do become quite long. Right, let's go and see what I've changed. Starting at the back of the bike, unusually, we've got a little bit more preload in the shock, because the change we made in the rear shock yesterday worked really, really well, but we're still relatively deep in the average on the data, so I think we can improve that. We have got some new rear brake pads because Tom is very heavy on the back brake, so we've cheated him to some new pads. We have a different preload setting and different damping settings. In effect, I've actually opened the damping up to try and get rid of a bit of patter. It's not technically chatter because it's not fast enough frequency, but there's a bit of patter when it comes off the brake, and that's basically the front tyre fighting against the damping. So we've opened the damping up so the fork moves easier, and especially over the bumps at turn 3, Charlie's 2, that should help it run over the bumps a little bit, and a little bit of preload off it, so basically the fork's a tiny bit softer, because that's continuing to move the bike in the direction we went for race 1 when it felt better. And then there's some engine brake changes. On the brakes into a couple of places, this is into park, that's the front wheel and that's the rear wheel speed, and you can see the rear wheel's dragging, so basically it's skidding quite a lot on the way into the corner. On the braking area, and basically when you get to a certain point, a certain like slip percentage, then it doesn't have enough grip to actually slow you down anymore, and so a skidding tyre doesn't stop as well as a gripping tyre. So what we've actually done is taken some engine brake out of it, so that it doesn't go as negative on the slip, and then it should actually stop better with less engine braking, because Tom, if you look at the red line here, uses quite a lot of back brake as well. And so it's a bit unusual for us because Franco doesn't use as much back brake into the corner, and so it's a different braking style, so we're having to adapt the engine brake basically to try and make it a little bit easier for him. And we've also altered the engine brake, so as he turns into the corner and takes lean angle, the engine brake actually increases, and that'll help the bike like hook into the corner and help him get into the apex a little bit easier. And so there's quite a few changes for morning warm-up, which is why a 15-minute track session is going to be really critical for us. So our morning warm-up wasn't quite as productive as we hoped for. We didn't go particularly quickly, and Tom didn't really like the feel of the bike It said mid-corner, it didn't track the line how he liked it. And so we've gone back to a setup closer to what we had yesterday. We've still made a little bit of a tweak to fork springs and preload setting in the fork, which I think will work better. And it was better over the bumps and the ripples mid-corner, so we did make some improvement. But now it is nearly first race of Monday, so we've come down onto the grid to talk to Chad. And when I say onto the grid, they stage them in pit lane first so that the mechanics and the teams can get down here as well before they actually go onto the grid. Right then, Chad, are you looking forward to racing your little 660 Triumph here at Cadwell?
I don't know if looking forward's the right word. I like riding it, I just don't like riding it with everybody else. And I especially don't like riding it with 16-year-olds.
Are they a little bit too racy for you?
Yeah. We worked out that my teammate is 16, so I'm old enough to be my teammate's granddad.
Hey, he's faster than you as well, isn't he?
Yeah, well, when I was 16, I was faster than my granddad.
It's a reasonable point, yeah.
I should be in a chair with a tartan thing, you know, and like slippers that both feet go into the same slipper.
Nice.
Yeah, and like dunking biscuits and timing how long it takes for them to break. And like getting excited when it gets past 5 seconds, like, whoa, it's not broken yet.
Yeah. And then be careful you don't have a heart attack because you're too excited.
Yeah, that is the level of excitement my life should be, not racing 16-year-olds around Cadwell Park.
So you're looking forward to the race then, yeah?
Well, to be honest, I'm in the perfect position where I want to be, at the back. So I ain't got anybody who's going to take me out, are they? So if I could just hold on to the guys in front for the first couple of laps and then just get in a rhythm is the plan.
Right, enjoy yourself, mate. We'll see you after.
Cheers, mate.
On my way all the way to the back of the grid to help Chad out, we'll go past Finn. Are you ready for it, Finn?
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it today. Yeah, definitely ready to go.
Cool. Aiming for another good top 10?
Yeah, hopefully just get a solid top 10 finish under the belt, pick up a few more championship points and build on it for the rest of for the last few rounds of the season.
Cool, come on, mate.
Thank you.
Right, that twin race was exciting with having the red flag, the restart. There's a couple more people tipped off. And Finn did really, really well, kept his cool, banged in some 134s, finished 6th, so that's a really strong result for Finn. And Chad, he was bringing up the back of the field, I will admit, but he got a sub 140, so again, really strong ride for him, having not sat on the bike until he got here and being old enough to be half the grid's granddad. So that was good, but we need to move on to the next bit now, which is race 1 for the Superbike in about 15 minutes. But I am getting some abuse shouted at me from some tall bloke over here with our Tom.
Stormlord Stacey, get on it. Proper weekend videos, we're on.
Right, good day yesterday?
Yeah, not too bad. I've not been very well, so it's I know. It's been a bit of a struggle, but I wasn't going to actually race yesterday, but in the end I did. So it was a good job I did because I pulled my finger out, had a good result, and I finished 11th. So considering I wasn't going to ride,
some good
11th's pretty good. So it's days like yesterday that make a difference.
Yeah. So feeling better today?
Not really, but I felt better when I woke up this morning. But then warm up after 2 laps I felt horrendous. So, but adrenaline kicks in the race and takes over, doesn't it?
Yeah, you'll be right, boy.
We'll be right. Sound.
And we're back on the grid for race 2. This one is only 12 laps, so for Tom and his endurance experience, this is a really, really short race. This really is a sprint race for him. We're P15 on the grid. We've got Mr. Hickman next to us, Christian Eden just in front, and Danny Kent basically aiming in front of us if we go that way. And I've just noticed something really, really trick on the FHO bike. I mean, their carbon rear paddock stand is trick anyway, but there's a little brace in the swinging arm there, a little stiffening brace that they've added in. That they don't always run, but I like that. We like little trick details, and those FHO bikes are like jewellery basically. They're so nicely put together. Don't go wrong, I think our Hondas are alright, but those things are even more bling. Right, it'll be about halfway round. We'll wait for them to get here. We're through. Happy with that?
Yeah, she feels good.
Cool.
Nice.
That's it, all you've got to do then is like put it on the podium, yeah?
That's it. Straight through the middle, we'll be all right.
Yeah.
No reason why not.
The advantage of doing 2 outlaps, and it's not just a case of riding around looking at stuff, is we've been talking about the braking quite a lot this weekend, and we actually need to get get Tom to stop the bike a little bit more with the front brake and be a little bit less reliant on the engine brake and back brake. And so even on the warm-up lap, he was just riding around and absolutely nailing the front brake to try and just get a little bit more knowledge, a bit more experience with the feel and how the front brake reacts. And I think what it is the fork doesn't dive as easily as the super stock fork, and so what he has to do is actually hit the brake harder than he expects to get the transfer of the weight into the tyre. But now he's tried it on the warm-up lap. Hopefully, as soon as he gets into the race, he's just got that little bit more comfortable doing it and can smash it a bit harder. It's gone well for Jez because he's actually now got his own brolly girl while he looks at the laptop. I mean, that is promotion if ever you've seen it. Warm-up lap is over. They're lining up on the grid. Minor panic when our bike didn't fire straight away on the button. I nearly pooed a little bit on the grid. But they are now ready for the start of the race. Right, let's get into it. 12 laps. This one ain't going to take long. Right, it wasn't the best start, but he dug in, he put in some really good laps, he put in some really strong moves on people. He crossed the line 15th, but Hickman had just got him back, but Hickman had knocked Danny Kent off and got a 2-second penalty, so we're actually 14th in the result. So, more points. I'm happy with that. Are we happy with that, Matt?
Very happy with that. Yes, 2 points, exceeded expectations again, spot on.
Cool. Clearly proves that we're an amazing team and any rider could basically do it on our bike, isn't that right?
Something like that.
Yeah. I mean, it helps if you can ride a little bit. Right, here comes our boy. That's it, he's got the clap. Top job. Well done, Tom. So it's been just over 2 hours since race 2 finished, and we're nearly ready for race 3. The boys have been busy. We've done a tiny little bit of adjustment to the rear ride height because that should help it keep turning and dig the tyre into the floor a little bit better. Basically, we've gone up a tiny bit, give us a bit more anti-squat to try and force the tyre into the floor and generate a little bit more grip. But only literally a tiny bit, like 0.5 mil in the link. The forks, we've gone stiffer on the springs. Basically, we talked through it all, and even though we went softer on the springs, Tom didn't actually use any more travel. So when we go stiffer, because he likes the feel of the stiff fork, he uses the fork harder. So we've gone back to the stiff springs that we had yesterday with a mil more preload and a mil higher in the fork, like a mil of the front of the bike is a mil higher. I'll try and get my words out. So really quite small changes to the bike, but hopefully they'll just give him a little bit more feel because he was 0.2 of a second slower today than he was yesterday, but the temperatures are up, and so that can affect the grip a little bit as well. Right, I've found a rider. He's warming up with Jim from the gym. So another plug, if you want to train like a BSB rider, come to a UK gym in Grantham. Hordy's going to be down there now because he's seen how much benefit he's getting from his warm-ups. Right, go for it, boys. There's no point looking at me, Tom, you're hitting him. Back on the grid for race 3, and because Tom's the only one who's done an extra out lap, because it likes to use it as an extra warm-up, I could just hear one bike absolutely flat stick down park straight a minute ago, which was pretty cool. Right, rider is now on the grid. Usual routine. I'm pretty sure Tom will go for a pee in a minute as well, but yeah, we're pretty good. Happy days. Right, bikes are on the grid, revs are up, waiting for the lights. Lights are on. Go! Let's go, let's go, boys. Still not the best of launches. In fact, that's pretty poor still. But round the outside first corner, let's see how well he gets his elbows out this time. He has 20 laps to make up as much as he can. I had a plan. Straight down the pit wall, round the outside first corner, up the inside second corner, podiums and trophies and happiness. Had a mare first lap, bad start again, and he must have had a moment of being pushed wide or something because he's currently last in 23rd, so that's not gone at all to any plan. But he has got good pace, he has got 20 laps, so let's see how far up we can get. Right, that turned into quite an intense race actually. So we went from dead last in 23rd and he just kept picking people off and being an endurance race where he could do lap times when the tyre's wearing, and he just kept banging lap, lap, lap. And we finished 0.3 of a second off 15th, so 16th place, 0.3, another lap, we'd have got 15th, maybe even 14th. It was so close. So I'm going to put it out there. That was a hell of a ride. That was realistically probably the ride of the weekend from him. That was absolutely bang on. That was a bang tidy effort, that was, mate. Well done. Proper ride.
First lap.
What happened first lap?
Oh man, I thought I was going to go on the grass when I was going to overtake Elton, and then he like sat up to the right, so I had nowhere to go, and I was just looking at the gap because I couldn't go down the box.
Don't worry, mate. That was an absolute mega recovery. Just 0.3 off the points, mate. But bang on that, mate. Bang on.
Cheers.
Well done.
Thank you.
So it's all gone nice and quiet now that the racing has finished for the day, but there is a lot of work to do because we're in the midst of taking the garage down, and we've had to put the bike back to Franco spec a bit, basically take Tom's tank and seat bits off it in preparation for an Alton Park test in about a week's time. And while we're doing it, Rob noticed that Tom has been very reckless with our motorbike. He has taken our nice new Arrow exhaust system and he's nearly worn through the link pipe, actually through the start of the silencer. And that is the bottom of the mountain because the curbs are a little bit raised and you put quite a lot of load in the bike. So, I don't know. You give these riders nice things and all they do is wear them out. Right, other than nearly wearing through the link pipe on our new Arrow exhaust system, I'm calling that a pretty successful weekend, and it's been good fun, hasn't it? It's been good.
Yeah, it's been good, yeah. Not successful, but no, it's been all right, yeah. No. Yeah, I kind of didn't have any expectation, then once you've done the first race, got expectation, so my own fault. I got 2 crap starts, and then obviously I kind of made it hard for myself in the sprint race earlier, and then made it really hard in race 2 by going off the track. But yeah, at least I didn't clean anyone out, and at least I didn't crash the bike.
So yeah, we'll take those as positives. And the pace was really good, and it was just really good to see you like enjoying the bike.
Yeah, no, it was. Yeah, I just really enjoyed riding it. Just fun all round weekend, and then the potential's there, which is really good. It's not like we were at the limit and we didn't have any more, you know what I mean? It's like if we could link everything together, have a good qualifying and stuff, it shows there is a lot more potential. So yeah, really enjoyed it. I just want to say thank you to all the team. Everyone in the team's been amazing. It's been such a nice, fun atmosphere, no pressure, just loved it, absolutely loved it.
Cool, thank you Tom, it's been a pleasure to have you along.
Muchas gracias.
And that is a wrap from Cadwell Park and what I'm calling a really positive weekend. Getting Tom on board has been really good fun, he's really good company, and he's really, really fast. So we've had 3 strong results, we've had good fun doing it, and it's proved that as a team, the processes we've put in place and the systems we've got going are really working, because we've got a boy who's not really used to Superbike, straight into the points. But Alton Park is looming next, Franco is going to be back on the bike, and I'm sure we can go even faster. So thank you for watching, and join us again next time for some more Superbike fun.